Hey guys, welcome to my World Cup prediction video. Today we're going to be looking at all the teams that are going to go advance through the group stage. We're only 2 days away now from the Russia World Cup, and it's actually a really interesting one to predict. I must say, there's a lot of wild cards in there. I think I've got a big one in myself. Not many people actually backing this team, but I think they could actually upset quite a bit. So going into Group A straight away, I think it's pretty obvious on who's finished in top. I think it's going to have to be Uruguay. They've got the quality, they've got the two amazing strikers in Cavani and Suarez. Then at the back they've got Jimenez and Godin, and I don't see how they can't finish top in that group with not much competition. I think in that second place, I'm going to put it as Egypt, but it could very easily be Russia. I think it's between those two. So I'm going to say Egypt just because of Mohamed Salah. He's the best player in the world at the moment, and I don't see why, with a pretty good team as well, Egypt. They've got a few, they've got Hagazi in the defence, they've got El Neni and Sam Morsi. There's a few players in that team, and I think that's slightly better than Russia, the home nation. And as I said, it could be quite easily Russia, but I'm going to go for Egypt. Moving on to Group B then, again, quite an easy group to predict the two top teams. I think it's going to be Portugal and Spain going through. The question is, who's going to finish top? And I think just because of the more squad depth, a little bit more quality in that team, I'm going to go for Spain. They've just edged it. I think they've got the better defence, the better midfield. Obviously up front they are kind of lacking. They've got Diego Costa, but I think Portugal with Ronaldo, they're going to go through, but I think Spain will just edge them at the top spot. Moving on to Group C now, we have France, Australia, Peru and Denmark. Now again, quite an easy group. You split it in half. I think it's France and Denmark going through. They've got the quality players. They've got, obviously, Denmark have got Schmeichel and Eriksen, two quality players straight away. I think that just edges Peru and Australia, of course. But Peru are quite an interesting one. They did quite well in their qualifying. And you never know. They are actually highly predicted by the bookies, which is a bit weird. But I think they're slightly, for some reason, Peru have a better chance of winning the World Cup than England. I think it's more down to the group and what the outcome will be, but nevertheless, I'm going to go France at number 1 and Denmark at number 2. Now moving on to Group D, probably one of the most interesting groups to predict in my opinion. Now obviously Argentina are going to be the favourites with Lionel Messi in that team. They've got Dybala, Higuain and many other good players, but I'm going to say Croatia are going to finish top, and the reason I'm going to say that is because they just have a better overall team all around. They've got a better goalie. In my opinion, they've got better defenders. They've got a way better midfielder than Argentina. It's just up front. Argentina have just slightly edged it, obviously, with Messi and Dybala up top. But Mandzukic, like, if they play to their strengths, Croatia could very easily finish top of this group. Obviously, Iceland 2 years ago, this is the kind of group that maybe Argentina are going to be that big team that don't go through. Italy and Spain, last time out, didn't get through the group stage. I could very easily see Argentina not getting through, and I think that would be kind of a sad thing for Messi, of course, but I think it's a very interesting group indeed. I'm going to go Croatia at top and Argentina number 2. Now moving on to Group E, probably one of the biggest favourites to win the World Cup, Brazil. I'm going to put them at number 1. I think that straight away, that's pretty much confirmed. Then it's that number 2 spot. I think it is a toss-up between Serbia and Switzerland. You could literally flip a coin, in my opinion. Either of those teams could very easily go through, but I'm going to say Serbia. They've just got that slightly better midfield, and just with Mitrovic up front, he had a banging season for Fulham, so I don't see why Serbia can't get that second spot. On to Group F then, again, quite an easy group to predict. I think it's going to be Germany at the top spot, and then it's a toss-up between Sweden and Mexico, and I think Mexico are just going to slightly edge it. They did really well last time out in the World Cup in 2014, only marginally going out against Netherlands. But yeah, we're going to go Germany at number 1 and Mexico at number 2. On to Group G then, with England, Belgium, Panama and Tunisia. I think again, you got to split this in half. It's quite obvious England and Belgium are going to go through. The question is, who's going to finish top? Now either way, we'll get down to this later on, but either way, where this group is, it's not very easy to win the World Cup. There are easier groups to get to the final and win it. This is probably one of the toughest groups to actually get to the final. So either way, if we finish top or second, it doesn't really matter. But I'm going to go Belgium at 1 and England at number 2. On to the final group then, probably one of the toughest groups to predict. I must say Poland, Senegal, Colombia and Japan. I think straight away Japan are out. I think they just don't quite have the quality, not quite known for being successful in World Cups and tournaments. Colombia did really well last time out in 2014. Did get to the quarterfinals. I think they lost to Brazil, of course. But I'm going to go Poland at number 1 and Colombia at number 2. Now moving on to the knockout stage. First game in the round of 16 is Uruguay against Portugal. I think Portugal just slightly edged this. They've got the slightly better midfield. They've got the slightly better attack with Ronaldo, of course. And I think they will beat Uruguay quite nicely. Now we have a very interesting game indeed. France against Argentina. A great game, and it's going to be really tight, that game, but I'm going to just slightly edge France. They've obviously got the better defence and goalkeeper, they've got the better midfield, and I think that should just grind the result out and get them through to the quarters. Next game then, Brazil against Mexico. Quite an interesting game, but I think Brazil are the favourites for that one, and they're going to win that game. Next game then, Belgium against Colombia. I think it's quite an obvious one. Obviously, Colombia have got a couple of players here and there are decent, but overall, Belgium have the much better squad and should be winning this game. Moving on to the next game then, Spain against Egypt. If Mohamed Salah has the absolute best game of his life in this game, maybe Egypt will win, but I think my head just has to go with Spain. They've got a better squad, and they should be beating Egypt quite nicely. On to the next game then, with Croatia finishing top of the group ahead of Argentina. It does put them in a very good position against Denmark. Now, either of these two teams could very easily get through to the quarters, of course. They're very good teams, of course, but I'm going to go for Croatia getting through to the quarters. They've just got a slightly better team, just ever so slightly, and yeah, I'm going to go for Croatia going to the quarters. On to the next game then, Germany against Serbia. Again, I think the overall quality of this squad just has to edge it for me. Germany are going to win and go through to the quarters. Poland against England. Now, if Lewandowski, like I said with Egypt, like a lot of these teams have this one player that they're kind of relying on. If Lewandowski's on his day, he could very easily beat England. There's no doubt about it. They've got a very good defence. Poland, pretty decent midfield, probably on par with ours, to be honest. And yeah, I'm just gonna have to say England. Like it's gonna have to be England in my opinion. I'm gonna have to give them a little bit of credit and give them through to the quarterfinals. Moving on to the quarterfinals, then there are a few interesting teams in these quarters. Of course, Portugal against France is the first game. Gonna have to go for France. I don't think Ronaldo will be enough to beat that French team. It's a little bit too good. Like some of the players they've left out, and still a very strong team indeed. Gonna go for France winning that game, going through to the semis. Now Belgium against Brazil. That is probably one of the most that could very easily be the final if results go the other way. But we're gonna have to go for Brazil. I think they just have that little bit more firepower in my opinion. Like up front, you got Firmino, you got Jesus, you got Neymar. I know Belgium have Hazard, but Lukaku hasn't had the best season in the world. He's not exactly in the best of confidence, so I think I'm going to have to go for Brazil, knocking out Belgium in the quarters. A lot of people predicting them to win. I just don't think they've quite got enough. Moving on to the next game then, Spain against Croatia. Now, I don't know why, but I really fancy Croatia getting into the semis this year, so I'm going to have to say Croatia. I might be completely mental, but I don't know what it is. I just feel Croatia are going to have a really good World Cup for some reason. Get through to the semis, and you never know, they might even win it. But let's go on to the final quarterfinal game. It is Germany against England. What a classic. Now, either way, England in the quarterfinals will play Brazil or Germany. There's no doubt about it. There's no way of avoiding that, and that is why getting to the final for England is going to be such a tough job, and Belgium, of course. And that's why I don't think England or Belgium will win this World Cup, just because of the quality of the teams they're going to have to play. Like, Colombia are a really hard-working team. Poland, very hard-working team. They're going to grind them out, and they will edge it to the quarters. But I don't think these two teams will get any further, so it's going to have to be Germany, unfortunately. England going out and doing about where they should finish, to be honest. Moving on to the next game then, France against Brazil in the semi-final. Repeat of the 1998 World Cup final. France did win 3-0 in that game, of course, but this time I think it's going to have to be a Brazil win. They've just got something about them this year. They're going to want revenge from 4 years ago where they should have won it, and I think France will be losing this game. Brazil will be going through to the final to play the other team, which will be between Germany and Croatia. Now, I would love it if Croatia got to the World Cup final, but I think it's going to have to be a loss for him at this point. Germany are just that kind of team that will grind out the result, and they're just going to get to the final again. Back-to-back finals for Germany against Brazil, which will be a terrific final indeed. But looking at the third place playoff, going to have to go for Croatia. I think France, they're kind of expecting to... They're one of the bookies' favourites. I think the top 3 teams to win it. And yeah, I think France will just be really disappointed. Croatia will nick that 3rd place, which will be an absolute astonishing accomplishment for Croatia. And I think that's very achievable. I don't think I'm being that mental saying that there's going to be upsets at the World Cup, and I think Croatia beating Spain is more than achievable. Now, even if Spain do get to the semi-finals and play Germany, I still think Germany will win. They'll get to the final, and the same result will come out. So, looking at the final, Brazil against Germany, obviously legendary result in the last World Cup, 7-1 loss for Brazil. They're going to want revenge, and they're just going to want it more than Germany. This Germany squad's definitely taken a step back. I don't think it's as good as it was 4 years ago. And I just feel like Brazil, they're just going to want that revenge a lot more, and they're going to win the World Cup. That's what I'm going to say. Will I be right? We're going to have to wait about a month to find out. So hopefully you guys did enjoy this quick little World Cup prediction video. Hopefully it's not too long. I tried to do this as quick as possible without getting into too many variables and stuff like that. But nevertheless, hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. Leave a comment down below on who you think will be winning the World Cup. Leave a like if you did enjoy it, and see you soon. Bye.